Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Uh, Let me know where you're signing in from, whether it is morning your time, afternoon, or evening. I know I have people watching from all over the world. And today we're going to talk about my experience here living in Portugal, 6 months. Question for you. Would you move to a country sight unseen without ever visiting the country? Is that something that you would do? Well, that's what I did. I moved to Portugal without ever visiting Portugal. I moved here sight unseen. And I've been living here for about 6 months. So today I'm going to talk to you about, how I feel living here after 6 months, some of the challenges that I've faced, some of the lessons that I've learned, some things I love about Portugal, and some things if I would have done some things differently. So we're going to talk about those type of things. So if that's something that you might want to know more about, then make sure you stay tuned because we're going to get right into it. And if you are catching me live, let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. And if you're watching the replay, let me know that as well. All right. So if someone is on live, I don't think anybody's on yet because, let me also say that I had to change the time because, as you know, I am recovering from the shingles and I'm so much better than I was before. But I felt myself getting tired. I'm supposed to go live in 2 hours and I'm about to take a nap. So I didn't want to have to wake up at a certain time. I wanted to wake up whenever my body felt like it. So I'm honoring my body. And so I'm going live now and recording this video. So if you don't catch me live, the video will be here. You can watch me later. All right. Okay. So let's get right into it. Me moving to Portugal sight unseen. So before we talk about how I'm feeling right now, I want to give you some backstory. I want to talk a little bit about, what made me make this move. Um, Yeah, things of that nature. What made me make this move? How I decided on Portugal, how I got here, things of that. I'm looking for my notes because I don't want to start rambling. Okay, so let's talk about a little backstory about why I left, where did I come from, and what sparked the ideal about Portugal. Let's start there. Okay, so I my first move abroad country was in Panama. I lived in Panama for almost 3 years. So I'm coming from Panama to Portugal. So I have, some expat living abroad experience. And the reason that I moved from Panama to Portugal, well, the reason I moved, period, I was just ready for a change. Um, I had been away from Panama for about 3 months. I had traveled to Africa, South Africa. I was in Zimbabwe. I was in Zambia. Then I went to Thailand and I was in Singapore. So I was gone for 3 months away from my home in Panama. And when I came back, I just I just looked at Panama differently. It just didn't seem the same to me. I felt like something was missing. I felt like I needed a little more, and I just felt like I needed change. So when I came back, I didn't know where I was going, but I decided that I was going to leave Panama. So so I started doing a ton of research because I didn't really have any idea where I wanted to go. But in the meantime, my son was visiting me during the summer, and was telling me that I should move to Portugal. And I need to look into Portugal if I'm looking at different countries. And he thought that that lifestyle would suit me. Um, I had spent some time in Spain when he was playing soccer in Spain. So I was kind of a little somewhat familiar with the European lifestyle, and I really enjoyed my time in Spain. I enjoyed hey, hi, Paula. Thanks so much for joining in. Appreciate you. Um, So let me know where you're signing in, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know where you're tuning in from. So I really enjoyed my time in Spain. So I did a ton of research in Portugal on Portugal. I watched YouTube videos. I joined all of the expat communities. I did a lot of research online and looked at cost of living. You know, how much would it cost to rent an apartment in Portugal? I did a lot of research for months and months. And so, because I knew I wanted to leave Panama, I decided I started preparing to leave. My lease was coming to an end in my apartment. And so I did not renew my lease and I literally started selling everything. But because I guess, timing is everything. And there was this lady who was just moving to Panama and she needed so much stuff. So she was like basically buying my entire apartment. So my stuff went away so fast. Hi, Jamila. I'm so sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Oh, first time. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it. Um, so my apartment stuff went really fast. I ended up having to get an Airbnb because I had to find a place to stay because I know I held onto my bed. I told her because she wait, so I can have a bed to sleep on. But I sold all my stuff in my apartment and then I moved out and I had a small stuff that I left in storage because I wanted to have a plan B in case I went to Portugal and it didn't work out and I needed to figure out where I was going to go, my next step. I kept a small amount of my stuff in storage in Panama. So that's the reason why I left Panama. It wasn't that I didn't enjoy living there. Panama was a great starter country for me. It was a great place to be while I was there. But after being gone and coming back, because sometimes you don't see stuff because you're in your day to day, right? But after being gone and then coming back, then I just decided that, you know, that was enough. I know I am still close. You're right. I decided that was enough. So, and another thing about me, I was working for the government and I'm used to moving like every 3 or 4 years. So I've moved a lot in my lifestyle, lived in a lot of different places. So moving is not a big deal to me. All right. So yeah, so that's why I left Panama and came to Portugal. Um, okay, so the next thing I want to talk about, and because I think because of my lifestyle, because I've traveled a lot, and I've already had expat experience in Panama, I felt that I had enough experience to make that decision to move to Portugal without ever visiting. One thing about me, and even in Panama, when I was living in Panama, you can always find things to complain about, right? But not that I don't look at the bad things because I do, I just don't dwell on them. No matter where I am or what situation I'm in, I'm always going to make the best of it. That's just how I live my life. I don't dwell in the negative things. So I came here to Portugal with the ideal that I was going to move here and that I was going to like it. And if I didn't like it, I'd make the best out of it until my next move or whatever I decide to do. But because I had been in Spain and that's right next door, I thought the lifestyles would be similar. Um, and I thought I'd be fine. And so that's what happened. Hey, Michelle from Texas. Thank you for tuning in. I saw your journey to Panama on video with your wonderful son. Thanks for sharing. Oh, thank you so much, Miss Snow. I'm not sure what your first name is, but thank you so much. Yeah, my son, oh my gosh, he's my biggest cheerleader. He is why I'm in Portugal. He's the one who told me, Ma, he said, don't just go to Portugal for just a couple of weeks. You need to go there and stay for over a month. He said, why are you rushing back to Panama? He said, you need to go there and have it in your mind that you're going to move there. So that's what I did. So, oh, Chicago. So that's what I did. So I just came to Portugal, and because I told you I did a whole lot of research, I also had contacted a relocation company. I actually interviewed like three relocation companies and decided on one. And I landed in Portugal on October 29th, which was my birthday. I was originally just coming here for a birthday visit that turned into a scouting trip, that turned into all these other things. And the very next day, I had an appointment to look at apartments. So I set all that up prior to coming here. So I did like the initial legwork before I came here, and I wanted to hit the ground running, and I wanted to see what was available in case I had to pivot my mindset, and I literally had to, because you can make a list of things that you want or things you need, and then what you see what's available. Apartments here in Portugal are very different than apartments in Panama. So some of the buildings are older, some things are not as modern. So you might have to weigh your pros and cons and kind of adjust your expectations. And that's any foreign country that you're moving to. You need to adjust your expectations. So Michelle, she's visited Lisbon and Central last December, and absolutely fell in love with the culture, the people, the scenery, Vado, everything. I know. That's how I felt, Michelle. I mean, it's so much to see and do here. So that leads me to my next thing, the first impressions. You talked about, Michelle, the things that you loved. Um, I got here and I just had one big bag when I arrived. And because I knew I was going to be looking for an apartment, I literally put some stuff in my bag that would make me feel at home if I found a place. Some stuff like from my kitchen, like a couple of my favorite dish towels, and because I had like some new dish towels and some little like motivation signs that I keep in the house, and things like that. And I brought my art with me because I wasn't going to let that go because I have art from different parts of the world. And it was like in this large container, like a big, like a roll thing, when they roll up the art, and the container was huge. Um, so I landed with that, and the immigration guy was like, "What's in this container?" And I said, "Oh, it's my art." And luckily, it had already been inspected by the last immigration that I came through, and they had put their stickers all over, inspected, so they could see that I was actually inspected. So he waved me through, said no problem. So I was here, and I was excited, and I had to arrange a driver to pick me up. And I remember us driving down the coast, and I was like, wow, look at this place. I mean, it was so scenic, extremely scenic. I mean, it's just like boom, wow. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I can actually live here. So we had like about an hour to kill before my Airbnb was gonna let me come in. So he said, "Hey, let's go have a cup of coffee." And I don't drink coffee, but I had some tea. So we went on the beach and went to this little cafe and just sat there. We didn't have a lot of conversation. Um, and I was just like taking it all in. And it was just literally a breath of fresh air. And I was like, wow, this is this is crazy. So So yeah, so my first impressions, and he's local from Portuguese, a very nice man. He would stop by the grocery store. I mean, he went way above and beyond as a driver because he was just, paid to pick me up from the airport and take me to the Airbnb. But he was just a nice guy, carry my bags, to the Airbnb and just above and beyond. So I had really good first impressions and just couldn't wait to get out and explore. I mean, it felt good. It felt right. You know how sometimes, you get a feeling you just kind of know, and I can't say it was one particular thing, right? But when I got here from the first day, I mean, I just felt like okay, Mary, this is where you're supposed to be. I just felt it. So I had a very good first impression of Portugal. Very good first impression. All right. Um, and I didn't really have any big surprises when I first got here because um, I was expecting, I guess, to meet people that didn't speak a lot of English, and to my surprise, they did. I guess because they also do have a lot of tourists at the airport and stuff like that, so you got to have people that speak English because that's like the universal language. So, no big surprises because I had read up on some of the behavior or mannerisms because sometimes Portuguese people can be firm and they said don't mistake that for being rude and such as how they are. So I was prepared for all kinds of stuff and was just met with such kindness and politeness and smiles and yeah. And even when I moved into my neighborhood and went to the local little market that's right down the street from where I live. And the first time I walked into the market, the lady, it's an older couple who owns the market, and she kind of she didn't frown, she didn't smile, kind of like mean mug me. I'm gonna call it like a or maybe like a curious mug, like, what is that girl doing in here? You know, speaking, English. But anyway, so I started coming back, she started seeing me more, often. And then I told her, that I had moved here. Um, and she smiled. And from that point on, um, she was, teaching me the name of vegetables. When I would say, do you have this or what is this? She would say the name in Portuguese because she could understand English. She didn't speak English that much, but she understood some of the stuff that I was saying. So if I didn't already know that about Portuguese people, I could have missed, you know, thinking she had some kind of attitude or something when she didn't. That's just her mannerisms. Um, but but yeah. So so just do your research. That's all I wanted to say. So, okay, some things that I love about Portugal. Um, what are some things I love about Portugal? Well, it's funny because I came from Panama where it was hot and humid all the time, hot, 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 either hot and humid or rainy and hot. I mean, just hot, hot, hot. So when I got here in October, it was like the perfect fall weather. It was so nice, so nice. But then I ended up staying for like 45 days. So I got here at the end of October, so into November and the beginning of December. And so I was here like during, I guess, the beginner of the winter season. And oh my gosh, it got chilly. They were saying it was a warm winter. It wasn't that bad. And so I ended up buying a couple of sweaters. I had bought my Uggs with me, so I was fine with my feet wear. But I realized that I enjoy this crisp, feel in the air when you're out walking. It felt so good. And I hadn't lived in that environment, in a cooler environment in such a long time. So I realized about myself, I love these seasons. I love the different seasons. So I don't know how this winter is going to be. This will be my first year, here during all the seasons. But hey, if I feel like it's too cold, I don't have to go out. I mean, I don't work. I can do whatever I want to do. But I was very surprised that I enjoyed the cooler weather. And actually, I'm not very surprised because I was born in Delaware. I haven't lived in Delaware in such a long time. So I'm used to, winters and snow and all that. I don't think it snows here in Portugal, but so it was refreshing to start feeling that cool temperature again. So I enjoy it because it's just a season. So I enjoy having the different seasons. Yeah. Um, other things I enjoy here, the diversity of the people. I meet people literally from all over the world that's here, which is kind of cool. Um, there is a sense of community, whether it's, you know, family time with the locals on Sunday and seeing everybody at the park. There is a large expat community here. I'm not fully tapped in to that community yet. I'm easing my way in. I kind of jumped in when I was in Panama, but here in which I'm going to talk about that in a whole nother video about building community. But so I'm easing my way into the community here, but I am just by authentic connections, just meeting people, on the metro or just at the market. I'm now in like a movies group, which they're for the month of August, they're having like movies under the stars in like these beautiful parks. And there's a movie on Friday, I think we're gonna go see, which is right near the park near me. So I'm in a movies group with a couple of people, a couple of expats here. I'm also in a dinner group that that I kind of authentically join that group. So that's really nice. And then I have, a couple of people that I've met that I hang out with. So I'm not overly busy, which I'm happy about because I don't want to be. Um, so I'm enjoying my time here. I'm enjoying my time slowly getting to meet people, and all that good stuff. Yeah, so I like that. I like that about here. The food, of course, I love. So many different restaurants, and plus I like to cook. So I'm enjoying going to the grocery store, buying fresh food. And I don't buy a whole lot at one time because the food is so fresh here without the preservatives. It's going to go bad if you like try to have a whole bunch of fresh food because they don't have the chemicals in it to hold it together. So I only buy, maybe 2 or 3 days worth. And because it's so fresh and the market is so close, I just, go back to it. Like if I want different meats or whatever. But I love my lifestyle right now. It's pretty mild. Like I went to the concert in Lisbon in Cascais, caught the bus to the concert by myself. So 2.5 hour bus ride. And the funny thing, when I was on the bus driver was doing like this intro, and he did it all in Portuguese. And I was sitting there listening to him. And because I was in Panama, I picked up some of the Spanish there, and some of the words in Portuguese and some of the Spanish. I knew that he was telling us that we were going to have a break and we were going to stop for a break. And he was telling us that we had 10 minutes once we stopped. And sure enough, here comes the break. And we had 10 minutes. And I was proud of myself. I was like, oh my gosh, you understood what he said. I probably didn't catch every word, but I caught the gist of what he said. So yeah, and I do plan on learning Portuguese. It's a whole lot harder than Spanish, but I'm definitely gonna go to a language school and start doing that. Um, so yeah, and of course, you guys saw probably some of my videos on healthcare. I went for a routine examination, then I had to go back because I had the shingles. So the healthcare here is excellent. No, nothing fast and efficient. You know, uh, expat friendly, free. So not well, free if you have a resident card. Once I get my resident card, I qualify for the free healthcare. So yeah, nothing to complain there. Um, is there opportunities for expats to volunteer? Yes, there is. Matter of fact, it's funny that you said that because that's on my list of things to check into. But there's a lady who I forgot which volunteer community, but it was something that I didn't want to do. So I guess you have to find your lane, whatever your lane is. So I forgot what she was doing, but I want to make sure I'm volunteering that I'm going to want to show up for it and not just sign up for something just because it's volunteering. But oh, I think there's plenty of opportunities here to volunteer for sure. Yeah. I'm just getting into, all the things here. But some of the churches, interdenomination churches have ways to volunteer. There's some local agencies. There's plenty of opportunities for volunteering. Jamila, for sure. Um, let's see. So some things that have been hard or unexpected. Whew. Well, I guess the biggest thing for me is the visa situation. I don't know if you guys have watched my visa where I was talking about being stuck here in Portugal because my temporary visa was approved. My embassy appointment was December 13th. Went back to the States, stayed for the holidays, um, and then came back to Portugal and moved into my apartment. I guess it was January. So my visa expired, temporary visa expired June 24th. And I had an appointment on June 25th to go to immigration to turn in my application for my residency card. It's like a two-part process here for your residency, 2 to 3 parts, because you got to turn in more paperwork. It's not a simple process at all. Um, but anyway, so all of the appointments for June and July have been canceled and rescheduled because the system like is severely backlogged right now. They're trying to revamp it. I'm not sure why they chose those 2 months, but they did. So I kind of like just fell into that situation because some people appointments have not changed. They still got appointments. The people that are coming in after me, they got appointments. Some people can't get an appointment. It's not a consistent system. It's not making sense right now. It's not like a logical format. It's kind of like the luck of the draw or whatever. So I was in that 2 month period where all the appointments were rescheduled. So my appointment right now is November the 3rd. So what that means is that I'm basically here on an expired visa status, which means that my summer plans and things that I thought I was going to do, like, oh, I'm going to go to Paris for the weekend, I'm going to go to Morocco, because all these places are close. And that's one of the draws for me moving here, being able to travel throughout the Schengen zone and the other European countries for very economical prices. Um, all of that is delayed because I can't really travel to those countries on an expired visa because I don't say I'm illegal, not illegal, but I'm expired. My visa is expired. So the only thing I can do is I can travel throughout Portugal. I can travel. My relocation agency said if I like travel to the States, make sure I don't, when I come back, make sure I don't stop in the Schengen zone so I don't get zapped or zinged. So I need to come directly back to Portugal because if you come back to Portugal, they know the situation here, but the other countries don't honor that expired visa. So all of my travel plans have kind of like been put on hold. Um, so that's something that I was not expecting. Now I had heard it wasn't like I had never heard about visa problems because during my research I had um, heard about the visa problems. I was aware of them, but because I was able to get my appointment, I was thinking, okay, I was one of the lucky ones, because appointments were still coming. People were still getting appointments. So I was like, okay, this is all working out. I got my appointment, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to have my residency card. I'm going to be able to travel. And then boom, I got the email. So, so yeah, so that is something totally unexpected because basically my travel is restricted and I've never been in a restricted travel situation, not since I retired. No. So that's, when you're moving abroad or thinking about moving abroad, whatever country you're thinking about moving to, that's something that you really need to think about is that you might have some unexpected situations or unexpected delays that you have no control over. So there's no reason for me to get upset about it, whine and cry about it. There's nothing I can do about it. That's the way the system is working. That's what's going on right now. Um, I hope there's no more delays because So I've in my mind, I'm like, okay, Mary, so you need to sit put basically for the next 6 months, um, 5 to 6 months, not sit put, but you can't go to any other European countries or whatever. You have to travel throughout Portugal. And the thing about Portugal, Portugal is a beautiful country. So now that I'm feeling better, getting over the shingles, I'm gonna plan some, little day trips or little weekend getaways. Um, my birthday, I was gonna go outside of Portugal, but now I'll be spending my birthday here October in Portugal. So I'm gonna plan that birthday trip to maybe one of the islands here or something. So I'm just gonna do things a little differently. Yeah, while I wait for my residency appointment. So, is it best to use a relocation company or navigate paperwork on my own? That's going to be up to you, dear. There is a one of the Facebook groups, I think it's called America and Friends of Portugal, something like that. But they are so resourceful. I even downloaded their file. They have a file, I think it's called a guide, Move to Portugal guide or something like that. I forgot what it's called. I should have had it in front of me. I don't have it. But it tells you all the steps that you have to take to get your visa, and it tells you about the different types of visas. It's very informative. The people in that Facebook group don't play around. They have strict rules in there, but they're a very good resource group. So I downloaded that file and read it to see all the things that I had to do. And a lot of people, because the file is so detailed and they tell you how to do it, do the visa on their own. You don't have to hire anybody. You can get it done on your own. But because I had already got rid of my apartment, I was basically like homeless. When I came to Portugal, I was like, I'm on a time crunch. I need to get this done. So I decided I was going to hire somebody. But no, you don't have to. A lot of people have done it on their own. I just didn't, not only just time, just didn't want the stress of the paperwork, didn't want to have to figure things out, didn't want to have to overthink it. I just didn't want to do it. So I had budgeted that as far as my moving expenses, for the relocation, part of using a relocation agency. So that was a part of my budget for my moving. So yeah, that's what I did. You're a big girly, Mary. I've been here since 1980. Well, thank you, Chris. Thank you so much for joining. Yes, I am fine. Thank you so much. Um, hey, Shaquan, how are you, sweetie? Thanks so much for tuning in. Um, but anyway, so and that's something that was unexpected. Um, I don't think language barriers is a big deal for me because I'm used to dealing with language barriers and you know, I'm learning the basic words. And just like when I was in um Panama, I did learn a lot more Spanish, of course, than I know Portugal. I just got here, but I might was not able to communicate exactly or totally in Spanish, but because I had heard it so much, I knew what they were saying. So I was able to, communicate that way. So I'm okay with, encountering a situation like, where I get my flowers from. The lady, I was going to, well, getting plants. She doesn't speak a lot of English. So we communicate. I'll pull out the app sometimes if I need to. We smile, so we make it work. She understands English. She can't speak a lot, but she does. So yeah, it's you just have to, whatever country you're going to, yes, you want to learn the language. You want to learn what's going to make it easier for you because it's going to be a whole lot easier for you if you do. So just don't go there expecting people to speak English. That would be the wrong approach, in my opinion. In my opinion. Um, so would I do it again? Would I move to a country without visiting it again? I would say yes, because I'm such a good researcher And because I have so much experience and I trust my experience, I trust my gut, I trust my own opinion about things. Yeah, I would definitely do it again without moving here first, or without visiting first, without a scouting trip. I would do it again. Um, and would I come here again even if I knew that there might be a delay in my visa or delay in my residency card? Yeah, I think I would say yes, because Portugal is a beautiful country to explore. So, um, and I had done a whole lot of traveling last year, like a lot of traveling. So the fact that I'm restricted right now is it's almost like a good thing. I'm not restricted. I'm not even call it restricted. Just my travel map is in a certain area, right? I think that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing for sure. Um, so I'm looking forward to going to like the next little town over and exploring different type of markets and all kinds of good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So glad to hear you're feeling better. Apologize in advance for this question. It may be a bit political. Yeah, we're not probably gonna getting the sense that there's a anti-tourist expat vibe there lately. Your sense. I don't get that sense at all. And here's a lot of thing, Michelle, too, even even in Panama, I mean, you kind of like hear the same stuff no matter what country. You're gonna hear that kind of stuff. Um, but I make it wherever I am, I make it a point to get involved into the community and to try to integrate as much as I can and to not be in, my little expat bubble. And I think that I was talking to this guy who lives here. He's from Brazil, and I think that there's I don't want to call it a myth because hey, there's problems everywhere, and there's anti people wherever you are, right? Even in the States. I mean, we already know that. Um, but what I want to say about that is it's not all geared towards expats. I mean, there's like stuff, there's there's new, the country is in a middle of changing political parties and new governments and new immigration system. I mean, so there's a lot of change. They're even thinking about changing some of the immigration laws for citizenship. I mean, there's lots of things going on right now in Portugal. But as far as or as far as me feeling like I'm not wanted here, or, you know, expats go away, we don't want you in the country. I mean, I'm not feeling any of that. But of course, there's stuff going on. There's anti things no matter wherever you are. I don't deny any of that. But but yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. I don't even know if I answered your question, but that's my response, and I'm sticking to it. But I don't have any anti-tourist expat vibe. No, this area, I mean, relies heavily on tourism. So even if some people might not like it, I mean, this is how the country is, they make a lot of money off of tourism. A lot of a lot of people from all kinds of countries come through here. I mean, and the season is ramping up because there's certain times where it's busier than not, and right now, it's ramping back up, I guess, because people are out for the summer and they're traveling with their families on holidays. So yeah, yeah, this is definitely a tourist friendly place, and I guess expat friendly too, depending on who you talk to. Um, so let's talk about some of the lessons that I've learned. Um, lessons that I learned. I think I would have, oh, one thing I also want to talk about is wherever you're going, make sure you have a financial nest egg, like several months of savings. Because you're not going to know, because just because one country might require this, another country might require something else. So I had the financial savings, but I didn't know that I was going to have to use it. So I had to just like instantly get over that. Um, and I was like, wow, I don't remember reading about that. Or so I might have read it and kind of, because I was involved in so much leaving Panama, packing up and all of that, I might have read something and put it to the side. When I had to actually turn the money over, it's like, whoa, wait a second, I gotta send this amount. But so I had to pay 2 months rent plus 2 months deposit. So that's 4 months of rent all at one time. So yeah. But like I said, I had it in my savings. I didn't know I was gonna have to give it up. Plus you gotta have a certain amount. You have to show that you're financially fit, depending on what type of visa. And I already had that together. That was fine, but I didn't know that I had to. I think I was in my head thinking 2 months rent. I wasn't thinking four. So that was probably my own fault. So I would say make sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. Make sure you're understanding the total financial commitment that you have. Um, and I guess prepare yourself emotionally and because things might not work out like you think they're going to work out. I mean, I was so happy when I had my immigration appointment, because people around me, some people don't even have their temporary visas yet, and they've been living here a whole year. So it's all kinds of stuff going on around me. So I was just, oh, this is so great, and then boom, it got rescheduled. So prepare for the unexpected, I guess. Be flexible, um, and kind of go with the flow. You're gonna have to. Yeah, do all your research, because yeah, you can rely somewhat on what people are saying, but to me, I gotta like read stuff for myself. And and if you talk to other people, that's their experience, right? So you gotta take it with a grain of salt. Your experience might not be my experience. So it's best to come see for yourself. And join those expat groups in whatever country you're going to, join those groups and get in those search tabs. And like, say, if you're looking for an apartment, type in the word apartment. You're going to come up with, type in the word realtor. All of that stuff is going to be there, because think about all the people who have moved to these countries before you. These Facebook groups, even the one that I started in Panama, the group is full of information. And we get the same question over and over and over again. But there's so much information already there waiting to pass on to the next person. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to make this hard. Um, all of the steps are right there before you. So like I said, I utilize, Facebook groups. I wrote down stuff. I made notes. So I was prepared when I got here, very prepared. Yep. Does anybody have any questions about anything, about moving abroad, about Portugal? And I'm not saying that everybody needs to move to a country sight unseen, especially if you don't have a lot of experience like I do. That's not something I'm telling people to do, right? Because most people take scouting trips, they come visit first. That's the better way to do it. But me, I was, a bit radical. Um, because of my travels and because of where I lived and things like that. So I don't even really consider it bold. I just consider that's just what Mary does. So it wasn't a big deal for me, but that's not something that I'm recommending to people at all. Not at all. Ugh. But I appreciate you guys joining me this afternoon. Appreciate it so much. Yeah. What is the relocation company you use? I'm not personally recommending any company because I'm still in a process right now. Um, so, and YouTube is permanent. So the last time I did that, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm not. The last time I recommended a realtor on my YouTube channel in Panama, won't mention his name or anything like that, but everybody was at one point very happy. And all of a sudden, things start happening. I don't know if he got too busy, but I was getting all the backlash. Um, so I don't personally, uh, I'm not doing any personal recommendations because what fits my needs might not fit your needs. And if you go into a Facebook group wherever you're moving, um, and just search relocation company, you're gonna see a whole ton of people, and you'll see the ones that people or that most people use. You'll see the ones that people say, "Hey, don't use." So it was a referral from the company, from the excuse me Facebook group. But if I was to do it again, I would even do that part different as well. As far as the relocation company, I would only use a certain portion of the company. And I think for the apartment finding portion, I think I would use like several realtors that were recommended in the group. I would I would keep that separate. And if I was to do it again, that's what I would do. But some people still like the all-in-one thing. Some people because some people just use realtors, okay, and they do the paperwork on their own. So it all depends on you and what you might want to do. Yep. But if you one thing about these companies and realtors, make sure it's a company that everybody, not everybody, but lots of other people have used. Make sure the realtors are legit people and are all licensed. Because that's one thing about Portugal is that you want to make sure everything is following the right rules and people are registered and all that good stuff. Because they are, very rule based. And like I like that actually. You're welcome. Does anybody have any other questions about anything on this Sunday morning? Is it morning where you guys are? What is the poll here? Oh, nice group of people said they would move to a countryside unseen. Some people said no, and some people said maybe depends. I get that totally. Yep. All right. So listen, if I don't see any questions, I'm working on some stuff actually that's going to be very helpful to a lot of people. I get a lot of comments about how to do this and how to do that. So I'm going to working on some simple stuff that's going to be useful to many. So I'm very excited about that, and I'll be letting you guys know more about that in the next coming week or two. So while I've been recovering from the shingles, my creativity has been like all over the place. So I'm like, hey, you should do this, you should do that. So I'm excited about what to come. But I appreciate you for tuning in today. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. And until the next time. So if there's no questions, I'll hang tight for a few more minutes. And if not, I'm going to be signing off. I'm probably going to go take a nap because I'm feeling a little tired. And I'll get up and fix myself something to eat later. But wherever you are, hey, keep moving, keep putting one step in front of the other, keep being positive, and enjoy, have a productive week. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Bye. It's a quiet bunch. I'm checking, make sure I don't have any questions that I'm not seeing before I sign off. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. All right, y'all. Have a good day. Bye. Thanks so much. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm feeling much better. Thank you so much. Appreciate you so much. Yeah, I'm sharing some stuff that's gonna make people that are wanting to move is gonna be very helpful. So, because I think people is like need to go back to the basics because people are making mistakes when they're moving. They're not ready and they're just making a leap and end up getting to a country and, you know, having to move back. So I'm gonna help you guys get prepared. We're gonna start with that and we're gonna work our way into all kind of other stuff. Because I'm all about empowering you to live the best life you can live, whether or not that's abroad or in the States, wherever it is. That's what we're going to be doing. All right. All right. So I'm really leaving this time. See y'all. Bye.